Hello again, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and this is another edition of Robinson Responds. I'm here to give you my thoughts on the fifth Thursday night football game of the 2024 NFL regular season between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. In a classic NFC West rivalry game, the 49ers would hold on to beat the Seahawks 36-24. Brock Purdy doing what Brock Purdy does best, right? Be consistent, completing 18 out of 28 passes for 255 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Isaac Guerrero had 10 carries for 99 yards. Jordan Mason had 9 carries for 73 yards. Kyle Juszczyk had a rushing touchdown. And the receivers, they handled their business. Deebo Samuel, 3 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle had 5 catches for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk had 2 catches for 37 yards. And Jawan Jennings had 3 catches for 27 yards. And also, just on the losing end for Seattle, Geno Smith completed 30 out of 52 passes for 312 yards. And he had a touchdown pass and 2 interceptions. Kenneth Walker had a rushing touchdown, and Tyler Lockett had 4 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf had 3 catches for 48 yards, and Jackson Smith and Jigba had 5 catches for 53 yards. So some of my takeaways for this game, starting off with the quarterback for the 49ers, Brock Purdy. Brock came in, was solid, was consistent, and I knew Brock was athletic, but I didn't know he was this athletic. The way he escaped a lot of those Seahawk defenders in the Thursday night game to extend plays and keep the 49ers offense on the field, giving them first downs, especially on the third downs where they had the short yardage situations. Purdy really came through in the clutch, especially when they needed him the most. So one takeaway I took from, of course, Brock Purdy continuing to be consistent, but his athletic ability, I give him a lot of credit. I knew he was somewhat athletic. I didn't know he was that athletic. Also, the running game, no Christian McCaffrey, no problem. Jordan Mason had some solid runs before suffering the shoulder injury, and in comes the number 2, Isaac Guerrero, not just a guy that's a power back, but one of the fastest players in this year's scouting combine when he had one of the best 40-yard dash times at the combine earlier this year. So we saw the 1-2 punch in the running game with Mason and Guerrero. We also saw George Kittle. Hey, what's not to love about George, right? George coming in, doing his thing. George had 2 touchdowns in this contest. And the return of Deebo Samuel, not only was Deebo used on the receiving side, but he was also used on the running side as well. So it appears that Deebo is back to being old Deebo, coming off that injury, and he had a big touchdown in that contest. The defense made big plays when necessary, such as Fred Warner, Deommodore Lenoir, Jair Brown, also Renardo Green and Malik Mustafa getting an interception in this game. So the 49ers, this was a must-win game for them in Seattle, and they got it done in front of that sellout crowd at Lumen Field up in the Pacific Northwest. As for Seattle, tough go for them. Geno Smith had 312 yards passing, but he had a touchdown pass to go along with 2 interceptions. And that 49er defense got to him. The pass rush, Geno just couldn't handle it. DK Metcalf, only 3 catches for 48 yards. The 49er defense, they had a lock on him. Tyler Lockett had his moments, scored a touchdown late in the contest, but it just wasn't enough. And the 49ers, I mean, they needed this one, and they got it done beating their NFC West rival, Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks, next for them, a big one coming up against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 7. As for the 49ers, they're going to be resting up and having a Super Bowl rematch in the Bay Area against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, yes, they are undefeated, And we've seen their defense really clamp down on opposing offenses so far this year. But what is the Chiefs defense going to do against the 49ers offense? We know Brock Purdy is consistent. He rarely turns the ball over. He can get it done not just with his arm, but with his legs as well. But what will the Chiefs defense do, not just to contain Brock Purdy, but also the running back situation with Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero? And what about Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and also Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings? You can't forget about Brandon and Jawan neither. This is going to be this could be a game for the ages right here in the Super Bowl rematch with the 49ers and the Chiefs in Week 7. But in the meantime, in Thursday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers, it was a must-win game for them very early in the year, and they got it done. So again, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks 36-24.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.